Alright, hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're doing an ability breakdown for Hulk. Hulk is probably my number one played character right now. I reached Celestial 1 with Hulk and Emma a couple seasons ago, peak. I haven't been playing as much, but I feel pretty confident. And the theme of these ability breakdowns is learning the abilities, but not just at a base level, because there's a lot of hidden abilities that you won't learn from just the F1 screen here. So we're going to start with just base Hulk, okay? So first of all, you have your left click. This is his main way of doing damage. It doesn't do too much on its face. Like, there's a lot of other characters, other tanks, other DPS, even other supports that can actually out-damage Hulk, like, as far as DPS. But the main thing with this is you combine it with your other tools, and it becomes just kind of insane how you can just constantly be doing damage. The thing about this is it can also hit multiple people at the same time if they're close enough. So keep that in mind when you're in a team fight. You can actually like swipe like this and be hitting multiple people at the same time. It's kind of hard here, but it's really easy in a middle of the fight, especially if you're behind an enemy team. Okay, next thing is the jump. This is Hulk's probably like his best tool, I would argue, his most fundamental thing. If you are playing Hulk, you are essentially always holding the spacebar, or if you're on console, whatever the jump button is, and always charging this, and probably always holding left click, always punching. Always, no matter what. This is your way to turn this character from being a walking ult charge battery for the other team into actually being a insane character. Now, what I'm throwing on here on top of it is a bunny hop. So if I just do a full charge right here, and I just jump, I land about 20 meters, very far. Now if I do that and bunny hop, I get a little bit more. I get about 7 extra meters. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're running from a team, or when you're trying to get some extra distance in the beginning of the game, it can actually really add up. So the way to do this, the input is you jump right when you hit the ground as you land. You do another input. The most consistent way that I think I learned this from Bad GDs, another great one, is by actually going into here, and you go to change hero, and you go down to movement, let's see, form specific weapons and abilities, and you change it to Hero Hulk and Monster Hulk, and you change jump. You have it on space, and then you also put it on mouse wheel. You can either do up or down. I think down is really easy. And then when you're about to land, you spin the mouse wheel down. And if you get the timing right, you do a little hop. So this is like the basic form of b-hopping with Hulk. The more advanced form is actually wall b-hopping. So before we talk about that, with this jump, if you hold space while you're in the air and you run into a wall, you can actually grab the wall. And you can stay here forever. There's no like limit to it. You can jump from wall to wall, and you can gain a lot of height. This isn't as useful most of the time, but it can help you in some specific situations. It can help you try and help stuff. But there's a mechanic, so if you hold space, the second you press space again or you let go, you drop. And you can use this in combination with the B-hop. And what happens is, if you look at Hulk's momentum when he starts accelerating incredibly quickly, but then he hits a max speed with his jump. And then he stops accelerating. And he stays the same speed. Now, if you B-hop and you hit a wall and you detach from the wall, you can keep accelerating at the original rate that you were going when you started, and also remove the cap. So this is like what it looks like, and you can like go with this, and this is really hard to do, but if you get consistent with it, you can like really go crazy with it. I think the best way to do it is if you flick the camera away from the wall when you go to do it. So when you hit the wall, if you flick away, that's been most consistent with me. This is something that like takes a lot of practice, and it doesn't just take practice in here. When you're in game and you're playing quick play, or even when you're playing comp, if you have any downtime or anything at all, you should just always be doing this. And then once you get it, because then you're going to be understanding, okay, well, I know because I've done it so many times on this specific map in this specific scenario, I know that I can actually make a ton of ground here. So that's Hulk's jump. There's one more thing with Hulk's jump, which is the tackle. If Hulk hits somebody when he's in the middle of his tackle and they're in the air, he will, or when he's in the middle of the jump, he'll actually tackle them down to the ground. Sorry. And you can actually come and practice his here in the practice range. I have a thing set up for it. Go to flyers. This is what it looks like for me. You can change it to whatever you want. But I would just practice this a lot. It's actually also just a really fun thing to practice. You just throw on Iron Man, and then boom. And then and I would practice like actually killing them too. It's kind of hard to do at first, but once you get used to it, it's so fun. Now, another cool thing about this that we'll probably see in a second is this actually stuns people. So if Iron Man tries to ult, if Scarlet Witch tries to ult, if Strange tries to ult, you don't have to use your exile. You can actually just jump at them and take them out. Now, especially with Iron Man, it's really hard to do because his ult doesn't have that much startup time. But like with Scarlet Witch, you can easily... See, there it was. He got stunned out of his ult. With Scarlet Witch and Strange, you can easily jump them out of there. Alright, so that is his jump. Very versatile. That's what it actually does. The last thing about that, actually, before I go, is if you look at this meter on the right, there's a little red section. Okay, so if you let go of space in the red section, you'll either get a regular jump or nothing at all. Most of the time, it's a regular jump. If you go just past it, you'll get a decent-sized jump. And what you can do, this is like really high-level thing that people do, is you hit, so you're, like say this is like a support, right? You jump in, you hit, and then you do a minimum length jump and a minimum length jump again. And you just do this over and over, and you jump over the person that you're hitting. And it's really, really good, because the person that you're hitting, they're usually going to be walking around, and this moves your hitbox. So imagine you're trying to shoot this Hulk, right? Imagine you're trying to shoot a Hulk who's just doing this. It's not that hard. Now, if you're trying to shoot a Hulk that's doing this, it's way harder. And since Hulk has such a big hitbox, this actually just becomes incredibly valuable. If you can manage this, it's huge. You can also adjust your direction and how much you're doing in the air a little bit. And so you throw that in and like, oh, it gets crazy. So there's Hulk's jump. Next thing, we'll talk about his right click. His right click is a projectile, like that. And it will go through it doesn't stop on one person. So if you line people up, you can actually do damage to multiple people. And there's no limit to how many people, I'm pretty sure. So what you primarily use this for is kind of ult charge. So if this is like the beginning of the game and we're on defense, right? What I'll do is I'll stand like right here, and there's their spawn door. It's like 3, 2, 1. You pop out, you throw it at their spawn door, and then you get out. And that'll give you a couple points of ult charge right there. And then you kind of use it, you kind of spam it for ult charge. And then you can use it in a combo like to secure kills. So like you're here, you're here, you're here, and then they get pushed away, and then you do it that. It does decent damage, but it's not crazy. Not a long cooldown, kind of just a spam thing. It does not go through shields. It's not something I understood for a long time. So if you use it on like a Strange or an Emma or a Mag, it will stop on the shield. It doesn't go through. So keep that in mind. But very helpful. Next thing is, let's see. Oh, with the jump, you can actually cancel the animation of your right click. This isn't as important. It's not as important right now, but it comes handy later. But understand that you can just like throw in a right click and you don't have to wait for it to come out in order to keep moving. So this can make your short engages like really short. So you're like hit and then you're out. I messed up the jump, but you get the idea. Okay, shield. So Hulk his shift is his bubble. If we look at what it says, generate gamma shields for Hulk and nearby allies, absorbing and converting damage into energy for Hulk smash. So basically, it's a bubble. If you take damage, let me get rid of my bubble. If you take damage with the bubble, you get more ult charge. So what I've been seeing Monster do recently is he'll actually just pop the bubble and just stand there. So I'm at 1% right now. And it should go faster. You see, we got a couple more percent. So you can use it for ult charge. You can use it to cancel out abilities. So if an enemy Jeff is ulting and you bubble, you won't get swallowed by the Jeff. Strange ult, you won't get stunned. Thing ult, you won't get stunned. Let's see, Scarlet Witch, she'll just break the bubble, things like that. Emma can't grab you, so it can be very useful. It's kind of like the thing that if you're good with your bubble, you can get so much more value out of your left clicks and your punches and everything else in your kit. You want to use bubble for like big things that can mess up Hulk. So you hear Emma go into diamond form, okay, I'm gonna bubble and get out before I get trapped. Things like that. You can also use it defensively. So that's like offensively, you're in their backline. You can use it defensively where like, oh, I see there's a thing or, you know, Emma in my backline. I can jump back and it'll extend to everybody around me. And that's usually enough to get somebody to peel off an attacker. So if you have like a, let's say a Spider-Man or a BP who's on your supports, you jump back and you bubble, their attack is essentially dead on arrival. Because if you do that and then BP shifts through, he's not going to get a shift back because he hits the bubble. So shield, very important. Don't go wasting it and make sure you know what abilities are on the enemy team that you need to use bubble for. Okay, next up is E, his Exile. So Exile is a really unique ability in the game. It is a stun, but it's not like the other ones. With other stuns, they're frozen. With Exile, they're not here. So if you exile somebody, the 11 other people in the game cannot interact, or I guess 10, cannot interact with that person. So if let's say this is a person, right? If they're here and you exile them, it doesn't matter how much the other team throws healing at them, it will not heal them because they can't heal through exile because they're not there. So you can actually use this to secure kills. So you're across the map and you're like, oh, that person's low. Throw out an exile, and then you can run up and secure the kill. And there's nothing they can do to cancel that out. So you can use that to secure kills. You could kind of use it for ult charge. I wouldn't recommend doing that except for at the very beginning of a round. You can use it to cancel ults. So Iron Man ult, Strange ult, let's see, like most ults that can be canceled, he can do it. Anything that's CC immune, obviously, like you can't. Like if Emma's ulting, you can't cancel it once it's started, but you can cancel it in its startup animation if you're fast enough. You can also use that to just peel people off your supports as well. So if you have somebody attacking your supports, you throw an exile at them and you jump back. And then the Spider-Man, like if you exile a Spider-Man, they're terrified and they're just gonna jump out anyway. So he's incredible move. It's kind of hard to use because you have to be accurate with it. But once you get used to it, you can get so much value from it. Okay, so that kind of does it for the base Hulk. Let's talk about Banner. So Banner has two moves. Baby Diva, Baby Banner, whatever. He has his left click, and then he has his shift. So left click, you kind of, when you're in this mode, you kind of just want to use cover and like spam. And his projectiles are so slow that you can like spam around corners. And you kind of just want to shoot in the general direction of a bunch of people and hope you get it back. The next thing is his shift. If any person, whether it's yourself or an enemy, that you hit with his shift, it'll give you 8% ult charge. So if you lose mech and you're right in the middle of people, you can use it and get like 20-30% immediately back on your ult charge. The other thing you can do, which I just showed off right there, is you can actually use it to like gain a little momentum. So at the beginning of the game, or even when you respawn and you need to get back to point quickly, you can actually turn around and then launch yourself forward, and you gain, you know, 10 extra meters or whatever, and to get a little bit farther and just a little bit faster. Kind of hard. You get used to it. You got to do it like every time then. That's kind of it for Banner. Next we have ult. So ult is his like best thing, and it's only his best thing if you really know how to use it. First things first with his ult is the jump. Hulk can do everything in his ult that he can do with his jump in regular form. So he can tackle people out of the air. He can B-hop. He can B-hop off walls. So here's the B-hop. And the thing with Monster Hulk with the B-hop is he has so much momentum that he can actually B-hop multiple times. So this is like what it looks like. Hang on. You can actually cover so much ground with this. Like it looks crazy in game. You can do it off the walls. It's wild. Yeah. So now let's talk about ult combos. You have some basic combos, and then you have some crazy ones. So the first one is his right click does so much more damage in ult form. So if you actually just right click, it does half their health. Then you exile them to make it to where they can't get healing, and then you right click again, and it'll kill most squishies. I think a lot of squishies just got buffed, so it won't kill everything. But if they're already a tiny bit damaged, it's like insane. So you want to be right-clicking as much as possible when you're in ult. And then, just like the other form, it goes through people. So you can really like make a lot of use of it. Now, remember when I was talking about earlier when I said you can actually cancel his right-click animation? You can do this with his ult as well, and it's actually way more effective. So this is a combo you can do. You left-click, right-click, ult, and it insta-kills a squishy. This is really nice at the end of your ult, or if you need to secure like a quick kill, like somebody like really needs to die, or you're about to die, this can be a quick thing. So I'll just do it on this Luna here. You left click, right click, ult, and you do it extremely fast. So right there, I left clicked and you didn't even see it, but the hitbox still comes out. But it cancels it. The right click cancels it. So I'll do it again. You can see she gets hit by it. She gets hit by the left click, which sends people away, but the right click still comes out. See, like that. And that's like what you want to be doing. You want to be spamming that constantly in ult. is left click into right click. And then you can do stuff like that across the map. The next thing would be the juggle. The juggle's a lot harder to do. But basically, when you left click when you're in your ult, it knocks people back, as we saw, right? And then if you knock people back twice, you can actually jump up and grab them. So 1, 2, jump up and grab them. And if they have enough health, like a tank, you can carry them and juggle them across the map. So if we just switch to my juggle practice, you can start with Groot, but then I would work my way down once you're good against a Groot and try to do it against like Emma or Penny or, you know, Cap, somebody who's small. Probably not Cap, but somebody with smaller hitboxes, because if you could do it with smaller hitboxes, it's even better. So this is what it should look like. And then you can do it over and over. And then you just carry people off the map, you carry them out of the fight, and then you push them into a corner, and it just gets insane. So that's the juggle. Really hard to do, but you can get so much value out of it. You can carry people. So a good example of that is like, you can actually, like, say you have a rocket that just ulted. If you're really good, you can exile the rocket, ult, and then use the juggle to carry him out of range of his own ult and kill him with it. Another example is Mantis. If Mantis is ulting, you can exile Mantis, you ult, and then you carry her away from her team so she doesn't get the value. Or at the very least, her team has to give up all that space in order to stick with the Mantis. Very hard to do, but if you're good at it, like the playmaking possibilities with Hulk's ult are just kind of insane. I think that's basically it. The next thing I want to talk about is like playstyle real quick. I'll just give a quick, like, with Hulk you want to alternate between soft dives and hard dives. So if I'm soft diving, I'm just going to jump in, I'm going to get a couple hits, and then I'm out. So the purpose of a soft dive is to bait out cooldowns, is to read the enemy, so understand what they're doing, and to get ult charge. Then you mix it up with a hard dive. A hard dive is where you go all in, and you go for a kill, and you use abilities, and you stay in for a lot longer. And you want to mix those two in. And the more that you play, you realize that which type of dive that you do really depends on where you are in the map, where your team is in the map, where the enemy team is, how they play, what characters they're playing. And the combinations are like pretty hard to do. So the best advice I have is just play a lot of quick play, play a lot of comp, and try soft dive versus hard dive, and try to pay attention. If you're hard diving and you die, then that was probably not a good time to do it. Obviously, there are times where it's worth dying in their backline to do it, but most of the time, it's going to be like, okay, did I die? It wasn't worth it. Did I use too many resources and not make them use any resources? Wasn't worth it. Did I secure a kill and get out? Super worth it. So just try it out, see how that goes. Save your shift and your exile for the most important things, and you should be fine. So I really hope this helped. This was a Hulk ability breakdown. So that's it for today. Let me know if it was helpful, and let me know if you guys go up in the ranks because of this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Bye.